I have been talking about snowman chords for years, but I believe I got the term from an adult student who visualized these chords in this manner. I was so sure that it is a common term that I expected to find it all over the place when I Googled, but that appears not to be true. This is one of many informal terms that I love because students of all ages seem to immediately understand the concept. It is simple, clear, and obvious in a kind of Captain Obvious way. A snowman chord has to be all lines or all spaces stacked so that we can see all the notes in a single staff. It's all about spacing. It is a purely visual thing linked to notation. Snowman chords can have as many sharps or flats as we wish because adding them does not change the shape of the chord. However, you will not find both sharps and flats in the same snowman chord. Major and minor chords are always snowmen. If you find a case where this is not true, it is so unusual and so uncommon that you can simply forget about it. If we are writing music, you will never have to notate something weird in this way in your life, and you should avoid it at all costs. You may think of the color white, since a real-life snowman is normally white snow. But a snowman chord can also be black, so when that occurs, just think of the snowman as being covered with soot. This will happen when you see a quarter note or something shorter. So when you think of the snowman chords, first of all think of major and minor chords in root position, with or without sharps and flats. Visualize them as white notes because then you have something that is purely white. Remember that these chords have to be either all lines or all spaces. That's pretty much the whole story right there. So if everything is clear to this point, you may want to stop or review everything up to this point to make sure that you have it all. Now comes the rabbit hole. Augmented and diminished chords can also be written as snowmen, but they are equally likely not to appear that way. So you cannot tell if they are snowmen by their sound. You have to see them in writing to tell. These are shapeshifter chords. Just think of Mystique. Major 7 chords and minor 7 chords always appear as snowmen, but dominant 7th chords may or may not appear as snowmen. They will always look like snowmen when they are 5/7 chords, but when they appear as augmented 6th chords, they will not be snowmen. In this case, the different shape of the chord visually signals that these chords are going to someplace unexpected. So dominant 7 chords are shapeshifters also. The same thing happens with half-diminished chords. They usually appear as snowmen, but when they morph to someplace unusual, they will then change their shape. So half-diminished chords are again shapeshifters. Dominant 7th chords with flat 5 are equally likely to be written with a flat 5 or a sharp 4. When they are written with sharp 4, they still get the same name because letter chords are independent of spelling. These chords are also shapeshifters. Finally, we can make larger snowman chords that have 5 or more notes. Some of them have to be written that way, like a major 9 chord or a dominant 7 chord with flat 9 added. These two chords are always snowmen, but other big chords may or may not appear as snowmen. For instance, a dominant 7 with a sharp 9 may also be written so that it looks like it has a flat 10 on the top. Obviously that won't look like a snowman, but it is the same chord and it will appear that way in many different keys. So here is yet another shapeshifter chord, and you simply want to remember that there are a lot of chords like that change their shape on the page. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, leave me comments about anything you like, comments about anything you'd like to see in the future, and remember that I consider all suggestions.